Summer's just around the corner, and that only means one thing, that it's almost time to start taking the doors and the top off of the new Jeep Gladiator. What's up everybody, I'm the Derek Frank, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit different video than what you're used to on my channel. Today I'm going to be installing a new system in my Jeep Gladiator. I've been a big fan of good audio in cars for a long time. I used to do competition stereos back in high school and college time and the really loud subwoofers. But what I'm doing today is putting in a really nice system with all JBL speakers. And this is not sponsored. I bought them all at normal price, but I wanted really good audio. So when you take the doors and the top off, you lose a lot of that audio, and a lot of times I can't even hear it at all. So I wanted to put in a really nice system. The Gladiators come stock with a system, I think they're Alpine speakers, but they're not wonderful, and they definitely can't keep up with all of the wind noise. That's why I opted for JBL. JBL is one of my favorite brands. This isn't sponsored. They're not paying me to do this. I bought these at full price, but it's always been one that I've trusted and had really great luck with. I'm going to do this series in 3 parts because there's 3 separate sets of speakers that I'm going to be using. First up is the front set. Now, those come stock with 3.5-inch speakers, and that's exactly what I'm putting back in there. And then in the next 2 videos, I'm going to be replacing the front speakers that are right around where your knees are at, and then the speakers in the sound bar. Now, those are going to be a little bit more labor intensive because I'm going to have to take apart the whole dash to upgrade to 6.5-inch speakers in the front, and then I'm going to have to do some cuts on the sound bar to put 6x9s in there. But before we do all those, we're going to do the easiest one, and we're going to put the 3.5-inch speakers in the front. Now, there are some tools that are going to make this a lot easier. Can you do it with your normal screwdriver and stuff? Yeah, you can, but you take the risk of scratching stuff, and these tools are super cheap on Amazon. You can even 3D print them if you want. All right, we're going to get started. So the speakers in question are these up here. There's 2 speakers. We're going to replace them with the 3.5-inch JBLs. So let's grab the tools we need and the speakers and get started. So first tool we're going to use is this little plastic pry bar. We're just going to get under there. And these pop up really easy. Again, I think it's better to use these tools because then you don't have to worry about scratching all of your interior. So there you go. So pretty simple right there. These are absolutely filthy. Let's pop off both of them real quick. This one's a little bit more difficult just to get an angle on. There we go. Got it. Now we need to get a screwdriver that's small enough to fit in there. And so I'll go grab that. We'll get these speakers out and we'll start putting the other ones in. Having one of these little Phillips screwdrivers is essential when you're doing car audio stuff. You can also use a socket to get that out, but I'm gonna be using this. So you have not a lot of room to work on this and to get that screw out. So that's where a socket may be a better option for you, but I was able to get that out no problem. I'm gonna put those screws in the cup holder so we don't lose them, because we're gonna need them in a minute. All right, there's speaker number 1. Go ahead and pull that up. And there's a little bracket on here, and we're just gonna push down, pulls right out. And I do have some wiring harness adapters that we're gonna use, but you can also hardwire it if you want. But I'm trying to keep this still almost stock. But yeah, you can see these speakers are horrible. Okay, we're on the other side now. Hello, from the other side. And again, these are pretty filthy. So I probably should clean this out a little bit. But it is a Jeep after all. Okay. And last screw. All right, we'll pop this speaker out. If I can get my fingers under it. There we go. And then just take off that wiring harness on there too. So again, these are really not great speakers. So let's get the new ones and get those installed and show you what they look like. Here are the JBL speakers. These are the Gx328s. They are significantly better looking and heavier than the other one. So look at the magnet on this versus the magnet on that. Like one of these is the weight of two of these. Plus it has the extra tweeter on there, which is really nice. And so it has probably its own crossover filter, I would imagine. And these are 75 watt peak, 25 watt RMS. These here are 15 watts. So you get an extra 10 watts out of it, but 15 watts here, like they're breaking up at pretty low volume. You're probably gonna wanna get these adapters. Now, can you be cheap and just hardwire it and cut them? Of course you can, but these are only like 10 bucks for a pair. They might not even been that much. And this is super simple. So all you have to do is plug them into your speaker and then plug them into your wire harness. So we're gonna do that. And it's pretty self-explanatory. The bigger end goes on the bigger end of the terminal. Isn't that crazy how that works? Smaller end on the smaller terminal. So you don't have to worry about mixing up your positive and your negatives. Really simple. Now let's see how easy this is to plug in. I bet it's gonna be incredibly easy. Oh, sure enough, it's already plugged in. So let's get this thing placed in here, get the wire down, and of course, it fits perfectly without having to do any modifications. This is the easiest like speaker install I've ever done in my life, I swear. And I've done hundreds and hundreds of speaker installs. So let's get the screws back in this side and then we'll install the other side. Okay. They look really good too, but they're gonna get covered up with the grills, so that's not a big deal, but they do look really nice. So let's move over to the other side and get that installed. Same thing with the other side. You got your adapter. The small terminal goes on the small side. Big terminal goes on the big side. So you don't have to worry about your positive and your negative. And they click in really nice, which is pretty good. You don't have to worry about crimping them. These JBL speakers are not vehicle specific, but they do fit great. So you're not gonna have to do any modification on the front set, on the top front set. The bottom front set, we're gonna have to do a lot, but that's in the next video. So let's get this wire tucked back in there. Get that in there. Of course, this one's gonna be a little bit tighter. They can't all go in perfect, but it still wasn't hard. It went in really well.
That's what she said.
Normally before I tighten them, I do test them to make sure they work, but I have pretty good faith that these are gonna be just fine. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me in the ass, but I think we're gonna be okay. That's definitely the driver's side. Here's the passenger side. There we go. Get that speaker grill put back on. Really simple, just clicks into place. We'll go over and do the other side, and then we'll test it. All right, no problem at all. Let's fire it up, test it out. All right, they are working, and I can already notice a massive difference in having low end, some actual low end, and then the highs are super crystal clear. Now I know you're not gonna get a lot from a GoPro camera video, but just having 3.5-inch speakers replaced, adding that much of a difference, it's pretty huge. For the first time since owning this, I've owned this for, I don't know, like 6 months. It's the first time I've actually like felt bass in the front end out of a 3.5-inch speaker. This is why I always choose JBL. And I haven't done any EQ settings on the radio itself. It just sounds really good. And it's so much more clear. So I already know that's gonna help a ton with having the doors and the top off. All right, well, there we go, folks. So if you have any questions at all, make sure you leave them in the comments below. And in the next video, like I said, I'm going to be doing the front speakers, but there's a lot of modification. We have to take the whole dash apart. We have to add some speaker pods to make bigger speakers. And then the video after that, we're going to do the 6x9. So if you have any questions, make sure you let me know. We'll see you next time. Thanks.